Kaleidoscope is five years of non-stop weekly programs, a total of 265 programs without a break, and on 4 social media channels. We began Kaleidoscope during COVID to simply spread positive news at a time when the news was always depressing. We journeyed through COVID and the economic crisis, and we are now watching the various chapters of our country and the world unfold, being positive, daring, different. Welcome to Kaleidoscope with a big thank you to our partners who believed in us right from the beginning and have been on the show in this 5-year journey with us. Srilanka Life, CDB, and the Daily Morning. Here's to more years of partnerships together. And to each of you for giving us the inspiration to keep bringing you positive, daring, different news. On the show today, say no to plastic, building on Mexico-Sri Lanka relations, and a walk through the Holocaust Memorial.
She wins with CDB Wings, exclusive financial solutions for women.
Looking back at the week that was on CDB Snapshot. It turns out that only 43% of registered companies and only 23% individuals file tax returns. Tourism is at an all-time high in May but has the lowest footfall for 2025. The US Embassy launches Sri Lanka's first mobile American space called the USBus, going to every province in 18 months. Sri Lanka's Subha Umadevan lends her voice to a Guinness World Record-breaking song 195. The 32nd Gratiaen Prize winner is Savithri for his collection of short stories Kata Kata, Gossip, Rumors and Idle Talk. Honda creates the world's lowest car, the banana peel.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Srilanka Life.
Welcome, this is Srilanka Life News Capsule. Mexico is the largest importer of Sri Lankan cinnamon, accounting for nearly 45% of the country's cinnamon exports, while bilateral trade reached approximately $182 million. Imports from Mexico to Sri Lanka increased by 44.39%. As tourism rebounds, both nations are exploring opportunities to enhance connectivity and mutual growth. Discussing this evolving partnership between Sri Lanka and Mexico is Ambassador Federico Salas Lotfe.
What have been the positives that you've had between Sri Lanka and Mexico?
There have been many positives. I mean, we have had, a lot of cooperation that we have had in multilateral organizations, mostly. And now, in the more recent past, there's greater collaboration of a bilateral nature. Trade has been increasing, people-to-people contacts have been increasing, and hopefully in the future we can combine both things, the multilateral contacts with the bilateral, and really make the relationship thrive even more.
If you were looking at deepening relations between Sri Lanka and Mexico, what would you do?
Well, I think there's a great deal of potential when it comes to trade, for example, economic exchanges. Right now, let me give you a fact that many people don't know about. Mexico is the largest importer of Sri Lankan cinnamon in the world. And I've been asked many times, well, what do you Mexicans do with that so much cinnamon? And what I think about it is that we use it for everything. We eat it in every possible thing. But more than that, I mean, I think there is a potential there. What we need to do, of course, is to have, especially our business communities, our chambers of commerce, look at each other closely, explore the sectors that are of interest, and hopefully we can, have that increase. And I'm sure that is going to happen.
Would tourism be a good area to work on?
Absolutely. Mexico is the fifth or sixth largest recipient of tourists in the world. We have a large experience in the tourism sector, in the hospitality sector. I think that we can exchange with Sri Lanka a lot of best practices because this country, of course, has an enormous potential. It's a very beautiful country, and more Mexicans are making their way over here. So that brings me to the issue of connectivity. We need to improve the connectivity that exists, and I hope to be able to bring more Sri Lankans to Mexico too.
What would be your next step as the ambassador for Mexico or Sri Lanka? What would be your next step?
Well, I hope that we can have, as the Deputy Foreign Minister mentioned earlier, some high-level visits. We haven't had, the President of Mexico was here in the 70s. That was the last high-level visit of that sort. So hopefully we could do something like that. Those visits, have a way of really pushing the relationship forward, of strengthening the bonds in every possible field. So hopefully if we can do that, and I hope that we can do that, we'll be on our way to a much stronger relationship.
And now for a look at our markets this week. The All Share Price Index at the Colombo Stock Exchange hit all-time highs, with the average daily turnover increasing substantially to around 7 billion rupees. After moving up by 2%, oil prices fell slightly to $65 per barrel due to increasing OPEC Plus output and tariff tension that threatens the global economic outlook. Gold prices steadied at $3,350 per ounce after strong US jobs data for April offset the uncertainty over US-China trade relations and global economic concerns. Singapore has a vending machine that gives you, hold your breath, luxury cars. Simply find the car you want, press the button, and voila, your car is here. Sri Lankans use 20 million plastic shopping bags per day, and there are as many as 10 million PET bottles flooding our landfills. We discard 16 million lunch sheets daily, and only 5 to 9% of our plastic is recycled in total. The worst statistic is this: only 15% of Sri Lanka's population is aware of the importance of recycling. On the show today, someone who saw the devastation that plastic brings and decided to do something about it. Nishanka De Silva is the founder of the ZeroPlastic movement, and he joins me in the studio today to discuss this country's plastic epidemic. How did the ZeroPlastic movement begin?
It's in early 2021, just during the COVID period, that I was looking at my home and then realized so much of plastic. I gradually started changing each and every household product from the alternatives, cane products, reed products, wooden products. And then I had the kind of a database of contacts. So then I'm from a tech background, Savithri, so then what I did, I set up an e-commerce platform called ZeroPlastic.lk. Then doing the business for 6 months of period of time, then I realized there's a bigger problem than selling the alternatives. So then from early 2022, we became a non-profit, and that's how ZeroPlastic movement started. Initially, it was just ZeroPlastic.
From that time up until now, what are the positives you have seen?
Well, if you go back to 10 years back, if you take an average corporate, what they are doing was, for a CSR aspect, painting a school, repairing chairs of the table, but now it has become they are doing something for the environment. So I always stand for whether it is greenwashing or what, doing something is good. So in a positive is, people started concerning about the plastic problem.
From 25 to 10,000 volunteers in this short span of time, what have you noticed about the Sri Lankan mindset when it comes to plastic waste and their behavior?
Though we have a 95% literacy rate, environmental literacy is just less than 30%. So people think plastic is good. And the other thing, if you look at the Sri Lankan context, Savithri, people look at few things when they do a buying decisions. One thing is how reliable the product, and another one is how cheap the product. So plastic meets it. So what I have seen that people don't understand plastic is bad, and they are being misled by recycling policies, so they just want to buy it.
What obvious steps, if at all, can our government take to actually curb the plastic waste that we have right now?
If we look at the problem in a bigger picture, people don't have a plastic problem. People love it. So then we, or the NGOs or the funding agencies, spending millions of dollars to cultivate something people don't want. So behavior doesn't happen overnight. So my point is, we need to make problem to plastic industry. How we can make problem to the plastic industry? Bring policies, ban set of plastic. For example, now we have government has banned, you can't use plastic cutleries, you can't use string hopper frames, you can't use plastic straws, plastic cups. But just walk 10 meters away from this studio, you can find those plastic. Second, law enforcement. So I at one point contacted IGP and requested how many prosecution they have done in the terms of environment in 2023. It is just 4,000. And then I divided how many police station per month. It is one police station, one case per month. If the government wants to address the problem, it's not cleaning. It is not the answer. Number one, bring policies and ban plastic. Not everything, things that is not needed. Third, make sure that you enforce the law. Fourth, give the educations to the people that plastic is not healthy. How many of you know the broom that you are using, plastic broom, producing microplastic daily basis, and you breathe it?
So the goal obviously is to go plastic free. How practical is that given that the world runs on plastic?
We need plastic, but plastic should not be ends up in the environment. It has to be zero. And you shouldn't get any microplastic into your body because of you use plastic. So ZeroPlastic first stands for zero plastic to the nature, zero plastic to the human body. Okay, now look at what plastic we need and what we don't want. So just here, do you need the shopping bags in plastic? Do you need a plastic straw? Do you need a plastic cups? Do you need a plastic broom? How many local entrepreneurs are producing coconut coir brooms? Nobody buy it. For the health sector, we need plastic. And for the electronics, we need plastic. What we don't want is a single-use plastic. So if you look at the global numbers, 50% of plastic problem can be eradicated, stopping single-use plastic. So first do that. And then you are good with the rest of plastic. And then there's a concept called EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility. If you produce some sort of plastic, you are responsible to take it back and do something, do recycling or repurpose. So I think the answer is we need plastic, but now we don't know what to do with plastic. And we as a country, we as a citizen, we need to have a better understanding what product we use. I use plastic. Though I'm the founder of ZeroPlastic movement, I use plastic. But I 100% avoid single-use plastic.
Just south of one of the best-known landmarks of Germany, the 18th century neoclassical Brandenburg Gate, designed by royal architect Karl Gotthard, there's a sloping field of 1.9 hectares filled with 2,711 concrete slabs arranged in a grid where the former location of the Berlin Wall and the death strip which once divided the city stood. This is the memorial to the murdered Jews of Europe, which cost about 25 million euros to build. Designed by architect Peter Eisenman and Bureau Happold, who said the field is supposed to represent an ordered system that has lost touch with human reason. The 2,711 stelae, which is what the concrete slabs are called, vary in height and width, and some say resemble a massive graveyard. But the design itself is clever. The field slopes downwards, and as you walk in the maze, the pillars grow taller in an all-consuming way, and you are left with no option but to move forward. Maybe that's what the message is: move forward. And as we look forward to the next 5 years of Kaleidoscope, here's to meeting up next week.